You trusted someone once. It felt safe. It felt permanent. Then, without warning, they turned. But the real answer for why they turned is far stranger than they were a bad person. Your brain has a betrayal detector. It has had one for at least 2 million years. And that detector didn't evolve to protect you from strangers. It evolved to protect you from the people closest to you. Think about that for a second. The people most capable of hurting you are the ones you let closest. That's not an accident. That's the price of cooperation. Robert Trivers, an evolutionary biologist working in the 1970s, called this the problem of reciprocal altruism. Early humans survived by helping each other, sharing meat, watching each other's children, standing guard through the night. But every act of cooperation created an opening. Someone could take the benefit and give nothing back. Trivers realized that once cheating becomes possible, detecting cheaters becomes a survival skill in itself. So your ancestors didn't just learn to cooperate, they learned to watch. Who pulled their weight? Who didn't? Who smiled while quietly taking more than their share? That watching never stopped. It just changed targets. Today, it isn't about meat or shelter. It's about loyalty, credit, attention, love. But the machinery underneath is exactly the same one that kept a Pleistocene hunter alive. So who gets flagged by that ancient machinery? Science and history point to 6 recurring types, not villains in a movie. Ordinary people, caught in ordinary pressures, who become the ones who break your trust. The first is the opportunist. This is the simplest kind of betrayer, and evolutionarily, the oldest. The opportunist isn't driven by hatred. They're driven by a cost-benefit calculation that suddenly tips in their favor. A better offer appears. A safer alliance opens up. And loyalty, which felt solid a moment ago, turns out to be conditional. Trivers' own research showed that cheating strategies only survive in small numbers, because if everyone did it, cooperation itself would collapse. That's why opportunists are rare but real. Your brain is tuned to catch them fast, because a single undetected cheater could once mean the difference between eating and starving. The second type is harder to spot. It's the resentful ally. This is someone who stayed loyal for a long time. But the whole time, something was quietly building underneath. A perceived unfairness, a sense that they gave more than they got. Psychologists call this inequity distress, and it was studied directly by Frans de Waal, a primatologist who ran experiments with capuchin monkeys. In his experiments, 2 monkeys performed the same task side by side. One was rewarded with a cucumber slice. The other was rewarded with a grape, a far more desirable treat. The monkey getting the cucumber didn't just notice the unfairness. It got angry. It threw the cucumber back. Humans do the same thing, just slower and with more patience. Resentment doesn't explode right away. It accumulates, and when it finally surfaces, it doesn't look like anger. It looks like betrayal. The third type is the mirror. This is the person who once admired you, and slowly, without noticing it themselves, started to envy you instead. Admiration and envy sit closer together than most people realize. Both begin the same way, by noticing someone else has something you want. The difference is what happens next. Admiration says, I want to become like them. Envy says, I want them to have less. There isn't a clean line between the two feelings. There's a slow drift. And the people most likely to make that drift aren't strangers. They're people close enough to compare themselves to you constantly. A sibling, a best friend, a colleague at the same level. Proximity, oddly, is what makes betrayal possible in the first place. You can't be quietly outshined by someone you never see. The fourth type is the fading bond. This one isn't dramatic. It's slow and almost invisible while it's happening. Robin Dunbar, an anthropologist known for studying the size of human social circles, found something surprising about friendship. It doesn't just require affection, it requires maintenance, regular contact, shared time. Without it, even strong relationships decay. Not because anyone stopped caring, but because the brain simply reallocates trust toward whoever is present. Dunbar's research suggests you can only maintain close, trusting relationships with a small number of people at once, somewhere around 5. Everyone else slides down a hierarchy of closeness, whether you intend it or not. So the fading bond doesn't betray you out of malice. They betray you by default because someone newer occupied the space you used to hold. Is that really betrayal? It doesn't feel any different on the receiving end. The fifth type is the protector who breaks first. This one is the most painful because it comes from someone whose entire role in your life was to keep you safe. Jennifer Freyd, a psychologist who researched trauma responses, coined a term for this exact pattern: betrayal trauma. Her work found that betrayal wounds hardest not when a stranger causes harm, but when the harm comes from someone you depended on for protection: a parent, a partner, a close friend who knew your worst moments. Freyd's research showed something counterintuitive. The closer the relationship, the more the mind tries to hide the betrayal from itself. Not because the person didn't notice, because noticing threatened a bond they needed to survive emotionally. That's why betrayal from a protector so often comes with a strange delay. Some part of you saw it coming long before you let yourself believe it. The sixth type is the ideological convert. This one isn't personal at first. It's about belief. Coalitions have always mattered more to human survival than individual friendships. For most of human history, being cast out of your group meant almost certain death. So your brain didn't just evolve to track fairness between two people. It evolved to track shifting alliances between groups. When someone's beliefs change, their loyalties often follow. Even if the friendship was real, it isn't always calculated. Often, the person genuinely believes the new group, the new cause, the new leader, deserves their allegiance more. But from where you're standing, it looks identical to betrayal, because the switch in loyalty was never really about you at all. Here is the strange part. None of these 6 types require someone to be cruel. An opportunist responds to incentives. A resentful ally responds to unfairness. A mirror responds to comparison. A fading bond responds to time. A protector responds to their own unbearable guilt. A convert responds to belonging. That doesn't make betrayal hurt any less, but it changes what the wound actually means. Your brain's betrayal detector isn't malfunctioning when it stings this badly. It's doing exactly what it was built to do 2 million years ago, in a world where the wrong ally at the wrong moment could end you. So tonight, when you replay the moment someone let you down, and your mind keeps circling back asking why, remember this: you're not weak for still thinking about it. You're running the oldest alarm system your species ever built. You trusted someone once. That's not the mistake. That's the whole reason you're still here to feel betrayed by it.